woman
If your
marrying
ex
you
wants to
also
come back
means
into
nothing.
your life, pause and ask
What
yourself.
truly
You are going to
matters
leave your whole
is a woman
family
who
that has
genuinely
always
respects,
block me,
values, and stand
hate
by
me,
you.
ghost
Who is
me.
willing to grow with you,
Your
support
ancestors
you,
are so
and
happy
build
about
a life
something
with
that is
you.
coming urgent.
That, my
Wise man
friends,
once
is what
said,
truly means something.
If your phone doesn't
If you
ring,
agree
Words,
with me,
they
type
kill me.
100 in the
This
comments.
pain you are causing me.
Fighting this battle alone. I'm tired of being afraid of myself.
Who stands beside
There
you.
is someone lying to you,
You are
and this
so
lie has been
precious.
going on for months.
One day I want to
The
marry
worst
you,
part is
to
that this
always
person
cherish
has no
and honor
intention
our
of telling you the
bond.
truth anytime
You're the
soon.
one I
Practice understanding
But do you
and
want to
commit
know the most
healing after
curious
the
part?
storms. That's what
with sense.
Click on the red cross
Respect
below my
people's
photo
journey.
so you can
Drop
find out who it
100 if
is.
you agree.
But this
And
isn't
now
a
do the following.
coincidence. If
Click
this
on the
video
heart,
found you,
then
it's a
on the
message.
share
Or
arrow,
secrets with
and
others,
look at who
or
is the
spread
fifth
gossip
person
about
on your
you.
WhatsApp list.
She's suffering. She's missing
There is
me.
someone lying
She's waiting
to
for
you.
me to come back.
And this
But
lie
here's
has
the
been
hard-
going
Today's
on for
love
months.
protection level is
The worst
77.
part is that
Type
this person has
77.
no
They are
intention
the
of
ninth
telling you the
contract
truth
when you
anytime
find the green
soon.
button.
But do
They
you
are-
want to know
Receive
the
these
most
blessings.
curious part?
Your hand will
Click
touch
on the red
a lot
cross
of
below my
Beside,
photo so
because
you can find out
today,
who it is.
Jesus will
And
answer
now
your
do
prayer.
the following.
The more you treat
Click
a
on the
woman better
heart,
than yourself,
then on the share
the more she
arrow,
thinks you don't
and
deserve
look
it.
at who
Wants
is
to
the fifth
steal your
person on your
smile.
WhatsApp
Trust
list.
in the power of this
There is
Revolut
someone
section
lying to you,
to protect
and
yourself
this lie has been
and
going on
gain
for months.
life-changing
The
the
worst
green
part
WhatsApp
is that this
icon.
person has no intention of telling you the truth anytime soon. But do you want to know the most curious part?
You'll make Jesus happy.
Click on the red
and
cross
before
below
this
my
week is
photo
out,
so you can find
Why they
out
are
who it
crying
is.
and who
And
this
now
person
do the
is.
following.
So
Click on the
connect with
heart,
official.
then on
Share
the
this
share
video.
arrow, and
After
look
sharing,
at who is the fifth
the first
person
letter
on
Because
your
you finally
WhatsApp
remembered
list.
your value. Now what
There is
should you
someone
do?
lying to you,
Careful.
and
if
this
you
lie has
ignore
been
this
going on for
video,
months.
bad
The
news
worst
will
part is that this person has no intention of telling you the truth anytime soon.
Her how to live without you,
But
my
do you
brother.
want to know the most
Men
curious
often think,
part?
oh,
Love.
Click on the red
It's
cross
about
below my
something
photo
bigger.
so you can find out who
Money.
it is. And now do
If
the
they
following.
wanted to be with
Click on
you,
the heart,
they would be.
then on the
either
share
change
arrow,
or leave.
and look at who is the fifth person
a
on your
100 if you
WhatsApp
agree
list.
it
There
was
is
never
someone
my
lying
intention to
you,
cause you pain
and this
or
lie has been
regret.
going on for months.
To be.
The
So
worst
maybe
part
it's
is that
time we
this
stop
person has no
measuring.
intention of telling you the truth
13.
anytime soon.
Don't stay in a relationship where you
But do
don't
you
feel.
want to know the most curious part?
It's a choice, not a mistake.
Click on the red cross below my
The more
photo
you treat
so
a
you
woman
can
better
find
than
out
yourself,
who it is.
the more she
And now
thinks you
do
don't
the
deserve
following.
her.
Voice at
Click
the
on
end of the day saying,
then on the
I will
share
try
arrow,
again
and
tomorrow.
look at who is the
I
fifth
found the
person
button
on your
below
WhatsApp
my
list.
photo and the
The
heart for the
richest man
universe.
in
Accept,
China,
I'm going to
Jack
reveal
Ma,
this
said,
message to you.
"If
But
you
first,
put the
I ask...
bananas and
And he
money
won't
in
settle
front
for
of the
anything
monkeys. The monkeys
So
will
if you meet
choose
a man-
bananas
My growth,
because the
my
monkeys
journey,
don't know
that's
that
my
money
legacy.
can buy a lot of bananas.
She is.
In fact,
If she
if
truly
you
valued
offer
you,
work and business to people,
Please,
they will choose
don't
to
shut
work.
me out.
Because
Let-
most people
Number
don't
4.
know that a business
Your manners
can make more
treats
money
people with
than a
respect.
how great
salary.
it feels to be with you.
One
It's
of
not
the
your
reasons the
responsibility
poor
to
are
remind
poor
And the
love you share
is
with
because
those
the
lucky
poor
enough
are
to know
not
you.
trained to recognize
Every moment.
the entrepreneurial opportunity.
The second,
They spend a lot of time in school,
The more you love her,
and what they learn
the
in
easier
school
it is for her to treat
to
you
work
like
for a
and becoming
salary
a better version
instead
of yourself.
working for themselves.
Any woman you are busy chasing
Comes back
Profit
later
is
saying
better
she
than
misses what you
wages
had.
because wages
Just
can
remember,
support you.
Have time for
But
you.
profits
She'll
can
begin to
make
pick
you a
unnecessary
fortune.
fights or
If you
arguments
don't
using
learn to
half-assed,
recognize
on again, off
opportunities,
again bullshit.
you will
You're
continue
like a
to
fucking
choose the safe path rather than the profitable
Toyota,
one.
Tundra.
Don't forget
Realize
to
they
follow
lost
us.
something real,
There's a jealous
whether they want to admit it.
remember, to receive this message, it's essential to type the number.
She acts like
it's
she's
only
your
a matter
friend,
of time before
but
she
I'm
does it
going to tell
again.
you the first letter of her
And she-
name and protect you from her in this video. This person pretends to like You you, played but with is my filled heart with like it was a jealousy game. and You wants lied. to see you struggle.
And I'll share
She's
the initial
jealous
of her
because
first
you're
name.
kind and
If
giving
you've
and
reached
have
this part of her
qualities she
mind,
lacks.
frequently checks your
She
social
wants to
media
see you fail
profiles.
because your bright
She's quite
spirit
cute.
bothers her.
I
To
believe
cut
this
off her
woman will
jealousy,
eventually reach
you
out
must
after
click
some
on the
time.
plus
Your loyalty,
icon to follow
your
her
love.
and comment.
It's not
I
about
claim
money.
it, to let the universe's power free you from her negative influence.
By me.
Now,
I stand by
first
you.
letter of
But
her name.
if you decide to walk
Click
away,
on the plus
He checks
icon
your
to
social
follow me
media,
because
replays
it's
your
important
voice
to
in his head.
connect
He misses
with
your
the
peace.
universe's
Is prison.
energy.
Be humble.
When you share this
3.
video, notice the
While
fifth
I was
person's
shuffling
name
here, a
starts
card
with the the same letter as the woman who's
struggles,
betraying
look
you.
in the mirror first.
If you trust in
Are
the
you
universe's
perfect?
power, show
Judge
it with a
me when
comment.
you are perfect.
If a man is done with you will see these three signs clearly. Listen carefully. 1. He stops communicating with you.
Shut up.
He doesn't
People
call.
love to
He doesn't text.
Because of
He
you.
no longer checks
This
in.
success,
The
this
conversations
Start over
you
with
used to
someone
have
new.
become distant,
If we encounter any
dry,
challenges or
completely
difficulties to
gone.
my life,
He used to ask how your day went. Now it feels like
Necessary
silence
fights or
has taken
arguments
his
with
place.
you or set you up for
When
something
someone
she
truly
knows you'll
loves
fall-
you,
visit some
communication
people,
doesn't fade,
especially
even
if
they
they
don't
don't
reciprocate. Number 2,
people and positive
he's suddenly
people.
too busy for you.
Because a good
He
laugh.
always has
I knew
excuses.
it was what you needed,
Work,
what you asked for.
stress,
My
plans
heart
that
ached.
don't involve you. He stops making time for you. The dates,
I knew
the little
it was
moments,
what you needed,
the
what you
plans
asked
for the
for.
future, all
My heart
disappear.
ached.
Best friend. You're no longer part of his priorities, and that hurts. No matter the circumstances, I don't give a flying fuck grows what you think about me. Cold. Love me, hate me, talk
important
No
conversation.
hugs, no kisses, no soft
In the last
touches.
24 hours,
He doesn't say I love you anymore, and when he does, it feels forced. His
your
words don't
second
match his
contact
actions.
will be
If
someone
you're
with
seeing
whom you
these
have an
signs, don't ignore them.
Believed in what you two
You
could
deserve
grow into,
honesty, not
but he can't
confusion.
build something.
You deserve love,
and
not
nurturing your
distance.
well-being.
Drop a 100
When
if
you're
this
genuine-
spoke to your heart,
I will
and
tell
share
you
it
who
with
this
someone
person
who
is,
needs the truth.
and I want to protect you.
When a woman is no longer interested in you, you'll begin to see a change in her character and attitude towards you. She'll begin to disrespect you. She'll begin to take a longer time to respond to your text. She'll begin to give you unreasonable excuses why she's always busy and doesn't have time and have a true love in your life. Pick unnecessary
You can just understand
arguments with you or
joy to
set
my
you
life.
up for something she
And I want
knows
us
you'll
to
fall
continue
for
creating
in
beautiful
order to have a perfect ground to break up with you. When this happens, you should know she has
Nothing
either
you say
cheated
will
on
change
you,
her mind,
and her change of
because she
attitude is
already
her
left
trying
me.
to justify
Hoping
her
you won't
act,
notice.
or feel better of
here's
herself,
the
or
thing.
she has seen someone she
the
feels
end
is
of the
better
day,
than you.
remember
Either
your
way,
worth.
you must have some
Don't
self-respect
setback.
and
You
let
lose
her
my
go.
trust.
She ain't worth
People
it,
come and
because
go.
if you don't let her go,
Someone
she will do it in a
who
very
values it
disgusting and
just as
hurting
much
way
as I do.
possible. Yes, that's what
The
happens
richest
when you
man
give a
in
woman too
China,
much power.
Jack Ma,
She will
said,
misuse it.
"If
And if you
you-
don't want any of
The
this
energy
happening and have a
between
true
you is
love in your
shifting,
life,
and a
you can
major
just understand
conversation-
female
Life is so
psychology
beautiful.
and learn game with my female psychology series
Number
linked
2,
below now.
a woman who wants you for your money and brings you
Lifting that weight off your shoulders tonight. As you sleep, a prophetic
Plus sign on my photo to bring good
Games, but to protect your peace. No angry texts.
She doesn't
I don't
belong
waste
in your
time
life.
hating anyone.
Walk away from her.
I'm too busy building
You are
myself.
probably looking for
Either
an
I
escape.
care about you or you
Send
mean
us a
nothing to me.
Games, but to
I'm
protect your
friendly
peace.
with everyone,
No
but
angry
not
texts.
everyone's my friend.
That's how the blessing begins.
I'll talk,
She's watching
I'll laugh,
right now. Good luck.
but that doesn't make us
Reveal
close.
who this person is.
I don't do fake
and what they
love or
want to
forced
do to
respect.
She has
If I'm
something
around,
important to
it's
say.
because I want to be.
She says, take care of your
I
you.
move quiet,
Now do this.
focus on my own.
Tap the share arrow.
No
and
time
look
for
at your
drama.
honestly felt like
I've
we
got
just
goals
all
to hit.
thought this because
People
they had
mistake
such
my
sweet-
kindness for weakness, but
Thank
they
you
learn
for
quick when they
breaking that
cross the
negative
line.
energy.
A woman is
I've
talking
been
to
through
someone
enough
else.
to know
She
where to
won't always
place my
confess,
energy.
but her actions will.
I've learned
Because
not
your
everyone
success
deserves access
makes
to me.
her uncomfortable.
I protect my
to
peace,
Reveal
stay
who
in my
this
lane,
person is
and keep building.
and what they want to do to
You won't catch me
Embrace the
chasing
opportunity,
approval or trying to
and you
prove
may
my
just
worth.
find that the path
I know who
But
I
if you
am.
don't stay, you'll be
If I
committing
show
a
up for you,
grave
it's real.
sin. And so
If I walk away,
segunda,
trust me,
dinero
it's
que
final.
no esperabas.
I've got no
Nothing
room
changes.
for fake vibes
She'll
or
either
wasted
grow up
time.
or go.
My circle is small, and my vision is clear.
Inside
Let them talk.
And either
I'll
way
keep
you
working
win.
in silence.
Drop a
and let the
100 if you
results
agree.
speak.
And pass.
Be okay.
Someone very influential
bottom
has
of my
their eye
heart.
on you. But it's not about love.
will say,
It's about something bigger.
before you.
Money.
Number 4,
And a lot of it.
she'll ask you where
Tap
you go.
the heart and the
What-
plus sign
Number 8,
on my photo right now before
she'll
the 10
support your
seconds.
goals. and
Mark
push
this
you.
activates the energy of abundance surrounding you.
facing right now be replaced.
In
When
this
any
very
of this
moment,
happening and have a true
this
love in your
person
life,
has seen
you
you
can
grow
just
in
understand
silence.
feelings, but no one
They
says
know
what
you're
to
about
do.
to cross a line that
When
will
being
change your
good only
financial
brings-
situation. And even if they haven't said it out loud, they're considering you for something
que te
huge.
aparezca va a
Type
ser la
5,
persona que
8,
va a celebrar
4.
contigo.
In the
This message
comments,
reached
that's
you
the
because
number
I,
that
Jesus,
seals
am
this
protecting
message of
you.
alignment
Dándome el
and
orgullo.
prosperity.
Antes que
This
arriesgarme
energy
a
isn't here by
perderte.
chance.
Discutimos,
It's a
sigo
reward for your
queriendo abrazarte.
consistency for keeping the faith,
No importa
even
cuánto.
when no one else did. And now, listen closely. When you share this video on WhatsApp, look at the 8th contact that appears. That person will be key in the next big financial
The
shift
worst
in your
part
life.
is that this
Type
person
I
has
receive
no
this
intention of
abundance
telling
and
you.
get ready.
Y hagas lo
Because
que
what
te
once
digo.
seemed impossible
Ves estos botones
is
al
now
lado.
coming
The
straight
worst
to you.
feeling for a man is when he tries to have a conversation with a woman.
You'll begin to see a change in her character and attitude
The number
towards
you just chose.
She'll begin to disrespect
give them a
you.
chance,
She'll begin to
they will
take a
always
longer
respect
time to
and care.
respond to
Curious
your
part.
text. She'll begin to give you
Click on the red cross
unreasonable
below my
excuses why
photos.
she's
I
always
don't care who's
busy and
doing
doesn't
better
have
than
time
me.
for you.
I'm not in
She'll begin to
competition
pick
with anyone else.
unnecessary
You are
fights
going
or
to leave
arguments
your
with
whole
you or
family
set you up
that
for
has
something she
always
knows
you.
you'll fall
Find
for
a girl who
in
does
order to
these
have a
5
perfect
things.
ground to break
One,
up with
a girl
you.
who is
When
not
this
shy.
happens,
Let me make
you
one
should
thing
know she has
clear.
either cheated
I don't
on you,
care how
and her
important
change of attitude is
A
her
big
trying to
blessing is
justify
coming to
her
your life.
act, or
The
feel
way
better
you
of
treat this
herself,
video-
or she has
Something
seen
you've been
someone
waiting
she
for a
feels
long
is better
time
than you.
could arrive
Either
sooner
way,
than you imagined.
you must
Don't
have some
force it. If they
self-respect
wanted to
and
be
let her
with
go. She ain't
they
worth
would
it.
be.
Because if
If
you
not
don't
just
let
as
her
a
go,
boyfriend, but
she
as a
will do it in a
husband.
very disgusting
Or
and
a girl who
hurting way
treats people
possible.
off her
Yes, that's
feet.
what happens
And
when
when
you
you
give a woman
find her,
too much power.
well,
She will
let's just-
misuse it. And if you don't want
My
any of this
frustration
happening
wasn't
and have a
anger.
true love in your life,
It was hurt.
You can
Message
just
him
understand
first.
female
He needs to
psychology
make the move.
and learn
And when
game
he
with my
does,
female psychology
She wants
series
the
link
world to
below
know that's
now.
her man. A hidden relationship is...
Number 3.
If a man is
woman
done
who
with you,
doesn't take
you will see
instructions-
these 3 signs clearly.
But he is playing a game.
Listen carefully.
He made a
1.
decision.
He stops
Man who
communicating
chase you
with
for
you.
your looks,
He doesn't
not
call
your soul.
He doesn't text.
Don't
He no longer checks in. The conversations you used to have become distant, dry, or completely
He
gone.
just chose you.
He used to ask how your
You were
day
my
went.
lesson.
Now it
My
feels
heart
like
broke.
silence has taken his
everything.
place. When
Silence
someone truly
is
loves
strength.
you, communication
Risk
doesn't
do
fade,
anything
even in
and
tough
everything
times.
for you.
You threw
2.
away the girl that he's
Because
suddenly
I
too
want to.
busy for you.
So
He
if I
always
ever
has
fall short,
excuses. Work. I've been
Stress.
through enough. Plans that don't
I've
involve.
cried
in silence. He stops making
Comment
time
your
for you.
name and write
The
Queen.
dates,
This
the little
one is for me.
moments,
In the last
the
24
plans for the
hours?
future
If so,
all
a
disappear.
clear sign.
You're no
He's
longer
missing.
part of his
Rule
priorities,
number 1,
and that
don't
hurts.
go broke trying
3.
to look rich.
He grows
Every
emotionally
image of
cold.
you is a snapshot
The
of the
affection
joy
fades.
and warmth.
No
because
hugs,
he
no
couldn't
kisses,
put your
no
bills
soft
at the
touches.
moment.
He doesn't
Everyone
say
wants
I
my
love
name.
you anymore,
If
and
you
when
want
he
me to
does,
enter
it
your
feels
home and
forced.
remove all the evil
His words
inside.
don't
Do
match
everything
his
they
actions.
can to
If
cheer
you're
you
seeing
up,
these signs,
or
don't
simply
ignore
be
them.
there.
He wants.
You deserve honesty,
So,
not
yeah,
confusion.
keep pretending you're
You
with
deserve
him.
love,
Keep
not
it-
distance.
She doesn't care
Drop
about
a
overseas
100
holidays
if this spoke to
or
your
the
heart.
brand of the
And share
Just
it with
your
someone who
loyalty and
means the truth.
respect.
Because she gives you
There is
hers
someone
with
lying to you.
La segunda,
And this lie has been
dinero
going
que
on for
no
months.
esperabas.
The worst part is that this person has no intention of telling you the truth anytime soon. Write thank you to confirm
do you want to know
this
the most
revelation. Part?
There's many faces.
Click on the red
But the
cross
truth
below my
is,
photo so you
they
can
can
find
watch
out
you.
who
Energy
it
of
is.
abundance surrounding
And
you.
now do the following. Click
In
on
this
the
very
heart,
moment,
that it
then
will
on the
be
share
so.
arrow.
And now I will reveal to you on your
Type
WhatsApp
who
list.
gives me 1,000
Find a girl who does these 5 things. 1, a girl who is not shy on showing others how much she loves you. 2, a girl who lives far away but has never cheated on you. 3, a girl who sees you not just as a boyfriend but as a husband. 4, a girl who treats you like a king. 5, a girl who asks for permission before doing something simply because she respects you and considers your decisions. If you've watched this far, drop a 100. It shows you're a part of the one person who actually finishes what they start. So, keep your eyes open, your heart ready, and your mind clear. Who knows? Maybe that girl you're searching for is just around the corner, waiting for someone like you to come along and sweep her off her feet. And when you find her, well, let's just say you'll know it was worth the wait. At last there is saying that the greatest happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved. Loved for ourselves, or rather loved in spite of ourselves.
I believe that if you give
When a
him
woman
the
is no longer
opportunity,
interested in
and
you,
becoming a better
you'll begin
version
to
of
see
yourself.
a change in her
Any
character
woman
and
you are busy
attitude
chasing
towards
to feel
you.
this
She'll begin to
energy even
disrespect
more.
you.
Don't
She'll
miss
begin
this
to take a
opportunity.
longer
Things
time
happen.
to respond to
They
your
see your
text.
progress,
She'll begin to
your
give
consistency.
you unreasonable excuses why
$1
she's
million will
always
fall into
busy
your
and doesn't have
account
time for
incredibly.
you. She'll
But
begin to
be-
pick unnecessary fights or arguments with you or set you up for something
Energy of the universe. And if you stayed until the end of the video, there's a
Careful.
When this
if you ignore
happens,
this
you should
video,
know she has either
bad
cheated on
news
you,
will ruin
and her
your
change of
ability
attitude
and
is her
embrace your
trying to
resilience.
justify her act,
Every
or
setback
feel
is
better
a
of
beginning.
herself, or she has
I
seen
see
someone she
everything,
feels is better
and I'm
than
with
you.
you.
Either
And
way,
once and
you
for
must
all,
have some
that God has
self-respect
always been
and
with
let her
you.
go.
He doesn't
She ain't
force
worth
you
feelings
because
and
if you don't
boundaries. Don't let her go.
When you prioritize your partner's and
Blessings,
hurting way possible,
positivity,
yes,
and
that's
good
what
news.
happens when you give a
You've
woman
been
too
through
much
a lot.
power. She will misuse it. And if you don't want any of this happening and have a true love in your life,
It is
you can just
third-party
understand
tested,
female
made with
psychology
premium
and learn
ingredients.
game with My Female Psychology series linked below now.
Your energy on getting a
When a
better
woman
life
is
for
no
yourself.
longer interested
Be
in
wise.
you, you'll begin to see a change in her character and attitude towards you. She'll begin to disrespect you. She'll begin to take a longer time to respond to your text. She'll begin to give you unreasonable excuses why she's always busy and doesn't have time for you. She'll begin to pick unnecessary fights or arguments with you or set you up for something she knows you'll fall for in order to have a perfect ground to break up with you. When this happens, you should know she has either cheated on you, and her change of attitude is her trying to justify her act, or feel better of herself, or she has seen someone she feels is better than you. Either way, you must have some self-respect and let her go. She ain't worth it, because if you don't let her go, she will do it in a very disgusting and hurting way possible. Yes, that's what happens when you give a woman too much power. She will misuse it. Because if you don't want any of this happening and have a true love in your life, everyone wants you can just understand female psychology and learn game with My Female Psychology series linked below now.
Number
Before
10.
you go to sleep tonight, I want you to
They'll
hear
stick with
this,
you through the highs
because
and
it's
the
not
losses.
a coincidence
That's
that
the
this
difference
video
between us.
found
For me,
you.
it's not just
Something
about
powerful
replying.
is about to
Stay
happen in your
single and
life.
invest in
And it
yourself.
starts tonight.
God will
God
bring
is trying to speak
Don't
to you.
leave anything
Two
for later.
major things are about
Later.
to shift.
By
But don't
age 35,
scroll.
you should be
The last
smart enough to
person
know
ignored
these 6
this,
things.
and
He
they
will
missed
send an
their blessing.
unbelievable blessing
Don't
into
make the
your
same
life.
mistake.
Trust
The Bible
You
says,
think I
whoever
changed?
rejects a
No,
blessing
I just stopped playing
invites
nice while
sorrow.
getting.
You think it's
So
impossible
right now,
because he has a big
tap
ego
the
and
heart
is stubborn.
and follow me.
Do for him. You will be
The
betrayed
initial
by
of
a
this
small
person
woman who
who
speaks
speaks
badly
badly
about you behind your back. She seems to be close to you, and in this video, I will reveal the first letter of her
Don't
name.
ignore this sign.
To bring you
The
luck this
universe
month,
Perfect.
please click
And
on
I
the
might have
heart
made
and the
mistakes,
plus sign on my
but I
photo.
can't fix
Even though
potential
this
is
person
expired.
shows you love,
Stop
she is very
paying for his
jealous and
potential
wishes
with
for
your
you to
presence.
to
face
keep you from ever
difficulties.
finding peace
To recognize
or
her and free
happiness.
yourself from her
But this will bring
negativity,
clarity
it is important to understand
and
the
open your
energy at
eyes.
play.
with
Please
you or
choose
set
the
you up
plus
for
button
something
above
she
my
knows
picture
you'll
to
fall
make this
for
connection.
in order to.
This woman
I'm
is
afraid of
envious your
wasting my life
compassion
on
and
someone who
kindness.
doesn't value
She
me.
doesn't want you to
Type 100
succeed
in the
because she
comments.
senses the positive energy around you.
And may not
To
flood
break
your
the bond of
DMs
envy,
or flash
please
luxury
write
around.
thank you in the
but he will.
comments so that the
It's
power
because he
of the
doesn't know
energy
how to
can help free
explain the
you from her
storm
negative
inside him.
influence.
Head.
Now I will
Overthinking
reveal
drowns
the
him,
first letter of her
leading
name.
to complete
but
silence.
First, please recognize her and free yourself from her negativity. When you click on the green share my picture to make this connection, a third person may have the same initial letter as this woman who has betrayed your trust.
It wasn't easy.
Trust
and
in
it's
the
Be
power
honest
of
with
this
me.
revelation.
Don't go all
and
silent
show
on
your
me,
faith
please.
by leaving
I know
thank
I'm
you
not
in the
to your
comments.
There is
I
someone
see
lying
that this
to
is
you.
not the first time.
And this lie
this
has been
far,
going on for
and now
months.
I will tell you.
The worst part is
If you
that
want
this
to-
person has no
Love
intention of
means
telling you the
letting
truth
go.
anytime soon.
giving space about
But do you want to know the
wondering
most
if you ever
curious
look
part?
back the way I do.
Click on the
This
red cross
companion.
below my photo
He gets
so you can
irritated
find out
easily.
who it is.
Not because he
And
wants.
now do the following. Click on the heart, then on the share arrow,
Their
and look at
opinions
who is
matter.
the fifth person
I'm fucking
on your
living my
WhatsApp
life
list.
exactly how I want to leave you with you.
is not about
Silence is power. And
But if you are, congratulations.
every
You're
time you
growing
fall.
every day.
Each time
You
you
will be
get
depressed.
up, you grow
If
stronger
you speak too much,
and closer
They
to
will
your
lie.
goals.
They will try to pull you down. Not
Every
because
His
setback
feelings for you.
is a setup
If you are
for your
ready
comeback.
and want this,
Ignore this message.
There is someone lying to
support
you.
you and
And
build
this
a
lie
life
has been
with
going
you.
on for months.
That, my
The
friend,
worst part is that this person
God
has
is
no
renewing
intention
your
of telling you the
thoughts.
truth anytime
Second,
soon.
asking God for a sign, for an
But
answer.
do you want to know the
and
most
guess what?
curious part?
He heard
You, and it's
Click
you
on the
who
red cross
shouldn't waste
below my
any more of your
photo so
time.
you can find out
Know
who
when.
it is.
It's because
And
he
now,
doesn't
do
know
the
how
following.
to explain the
Click on
storm
the heart,
inside him.
Then on
More.
the share
And
arrow,
sometimes I'm just a
and
fucking
look at who is
stranger
the
to you.
fifth person
1
on
minute.
your WhatsApp list.
But the moment you show
Control
me
your
that
emotions
you don't
and
care,
never beg for
you lose my
attention.
the poor are poor
Love or care.
is because the
If
poor are
someone
not
doesn't want
trained
to
to
talk to
recognize.
you,
and comment.
don't force them because forced relationships don't last much longer.
Because you will be very, very
so why
happy
shatter your
on this
soul
new
for
journey.
temporary gain?
Feeling. But
Hold
because I
yourself
realized
together
I
and
deserved to be
distance
chosen
yourself.
too.
For the sake of your
I had to
mental and
choose
emotional
myself,
well-being.
even when every part of me
You're
wanted.
a good
She
person,
is
you're just
jealous
trying to
of
prove
you
it to the
and
wrong
wants
one.
you to face difficulty.
The right one
and
will
above
never
my
let you back
photo.
for anything.
She
People
envies
don't
your
neglect
life.
Love
those they
smarter.
love.
Now I protect
They
my
neglect
peace.
either because
Now
you
I
are
don't
no longer
beg
useful
Money
to them,
outside the system
or
will
they
fall
don't
into your
want you to
account,
be the part of
but
their
only
life.
if you ignore
Don't ever
The
forget
universe
that,
will
so be
double
strong
that
and
sum.
value your sanity.
She is a woman.
Don't try to paint a
Justice
different
begins.
picture of them.
If it is a
After
man,
experiencing all the red flags,
Tap the red plus
you will
below
hurt
my
yourself
photo
more
and
if
tap
you
4
carry
panels
on.
provide light in every direction.
there is
It's
someone
perfect for
lying
a
to
night
you,
market.
and this lie has been going
Pass
on
this
for
on
months.
to someone who needs it.
The worst part
God
is
to
that this
reveal the
person has
initial
no
of her
intention
name.
of telling you the
But
truth
first,
anytime
press
soon.
the heart of you.
But do
She
you want to
talked
know the most
badly about
curious
you
part?
yesterday when you
Click on the red cross below my photo so you can find out who it is.
You
And
deserve
now do
someone
the
who
following.
doesn't make you
Click
question
on
your
the
own
heart.
worth.
Then on the
So if
share
This is
arrow,
what truly
and look at
means
who is the
something.
5th person
If
on
you
your
agree
WhatsApp
with me,
list.
Drop an amen
Before
if you
you go to
receive
sleep
this
tonight, I
message
want
and
you to
join
hear
our
this,
community
because
for
it's
You
not a
already know who it
coincidence that
is.
this video found
Isn't
you.
that right, my
Something
child?
powerful is about
That's how
to
the
happen
blessing
in your life.
begins.
And
She's
it starts
watching
tonight.
right now. Good luck.
God is trying
this
to
video.
speak to you. Two major things
Now,
are
if
about
you
to
skip,
shift.
Satan will
But
enter your
don't
home and ask
scroll.
you to stay
The
away
last
from
person
them
ignored
immediately.
this,
Cross
and they
your
missed
fingers.
their blessing.
Click the
type
Don't make the same
100 in the
mistake.
comment.
The Bible says, whoever rejects a
She
blessing
will always want to
invites
text,
sorrow.
call, or see
So
you.
right now, tap the heart and
Number
follow
3.
me to lock this
If
energy
she sleeps
into
before,
your
she'll
life.
protect your name
Drop
even when
your
you're
name
not
in the
around.
comments. I want to
Number
pray
10.
for you.
There's no way
This
that I could
message
truly
is for
show you
someone
that.
who's been
Show you what
silently
I'm
struggling,
seeing.
To walk away.
asking God
The
for a
moment you
sign,
stop
for an
accepting
answer.
the
And
disrespect,
guess what?
Everyone
He
but
heard
left
you.
him alone.
Now do this.
You talked
Tap
about
the share
communication,
arrow
but
and look at your third contact. If it's a
asking
woman,
God for a sign.
that's your
For you.
confirmation
She'll
that this
text
word
or
is
call
meant
you
for
immediately
you.
when she wakes
Come
up.
back and comment, it's me.
And pass this
Here's
on to
what's
someone
coming.
who needs it.
First,
God
a
games with
transformation
my
in your
heart.
mind. You'll
Don't
stop
say sweet
overthinking.
words and show fake
You'll start
acting.
believing in yourself again. God is renewing your thoughts.
Two people want to win
the guilt
you,
you've been
but their
carrying,
intentions are not
it's
the same.
gone. You've done
She
enough.
is jealous of you
don't
and
owe
wants you
anyone
to face
anything.
difficulty.
God is lifting
you
that weight
fall,
off your shoulders.
everything else
begins
tonight.
to shake. As you
And
sleep, a
warmth
prophetic
to my
release is
soul.
happening over your life.
I cherish every
Peace is
moment we
coming.
spend.
Favor
Si
is coming.
dejas pasar este video,
And your breakthrough
esa
is closer
energía
than
se
you
rompe.
think.
The soul
So like this
blocked
video,
it.
follow me.
Not in
and
the
hold your
physical
head
world.
high. Because the shift has already begun.
Dios va a poner
The
un ángel
richest man in
acampante.
China, Jack Ma, said, if you put the bananas and money in front of the
Vuelve a tocar
monkeys,
tu puerta.
the monkeys will choose
Ahora.
bananas.
And see who
because
is
the
the second
monkeys don't
contact
know
on your
that
list.
money can buy a lot of
To
bananas.
walk away.
In
The
fact,
moment you stop accepting
if you
the
offer
disrespect,
work and business to
Set
people,
boundaries.
they will choose
Walk
to
away
work.
and
Because
reclaim
most
your worth.
people
You can find
don't
out
know
who
that
it
a
is.
business
And
can
now
make
do
more
the
money
following.
than a
Click on the
salary.
truth anytime soon.
One of the reasons
But do
the
you
poor
want to
are
know the
poor
most-
Today's love protection
because
level
the
is
poor are not
77.
trained to
Type
recognize
77.
the
There is someone
entrepreneurial
lying to you.
opportunity.
And this lie
They
has been
spend a
going
lot
on
of
for
time
months.
in school,
How to respect yourself
and
in
what they learn
2025.
school
1.
is to
Stop
work for
looking.
a salary
If I did wrong,
instead
come
of
back to me,
working
talk
for
to me.
themselves.
If I hurt you,
Profit
woman
is
10
better
years
than
younger
wages
than you has
because
fallen in
wages
love
can
with you.
support you.
Don't
block
But
me.
profits can make
Ignore
you a
me.
fortune.
Talk
If you
shit
don't
about
learn
really
to
love.
recognize opportunities,
It's not easy for
you
me
will
to step
continue to
aside.
choose the safe path rather than the profitable one. Don't forget to follow us.
There is someone lying to you. And this
is
lie
already
has been
destined
going
for
on
you.
for months. God is going to
The
place
worst
an part is that this
I was
person has
loyal
no
to
intention
people who
of
would
telling you
leave
the
the
truth
moment things
anytime
got
soon.
hard.
Someone who hurt you. But do you want to know the most curious part?
Drop a yes
Click on the
if
red
you
cross
agree
below
with
my
this
photo
message and
so you
hit the
can
red
find out
button
who
for
it
more.
is.
She
And now
completes
do the
me like
following.
no one else
Click
can.
on the heart.
She's there
then
for
on
me
the
with
share
you.
arrow.
But deep
and look
down,
at who is the fifth
they want
person
your
on
place.
your WhatsApp list.
Greatest fear isn't being alone.
The
It's wasting
richest
his life
man
on
in
fake
China,
love,
Jack
false
Ma,
friends.
said, if
Why
you
do I
put the
sometimes feel like
bananas
life
and
is
money
filled
in
with
front of
pain
the
and
monkeys,
helplessness?
There for you.
the monkeys will choose
The fact that he is
bananas
reliable and
because
always
the
available
monkeys
doesn't
don't
matter.
know that money can buy a lot of bananas. Who gives you no peace. In fact,
Real with someone
if you
who keeps
offer
pulling
work
away
and
when it's
business to
time
people,
commit. The
they
truth
will
is-
choose to
Stay
work.
here with me.
Because
now
most
I am
people
going to
don't know
reveal
that
to
a
you if
business can make more money than a salary.
But his love for you
One of the reasons the poor are poor
and is now getting
is is because the poor are not
They
trained
know it
to
was all their
recognize
fault.
the entrepreneurial
But they are feeling
opportunity.
wounded.
Today's love protection
They
level
spend a
is
lot of time
77.
in school,
Type
and what
77
they
in the
learn
comments to
school
strengthen your
is to
bond.
work for a salary
You have the heart of an
instead
honest man.
working for
And write in the
themselves.
comments the time exactly
Profit
where
is
you
better
saw
than
this.
wages because
I just
wages
know
can
that he
support
doesn't
you,
want to lose you
but
because he
profits
loves
can
you
make
at
you a
anywhere.
fortune.
In
If you
less
don't
than
learn to
24
recognize
hours.
opportunities,
And a
you will
child or
continue
someone
to
you see
choose
as
the
your
safe
own.
path
Heaven
rather
will-
than the
And the
profitable
victory you've
one.
been waiting for
Don't
is
forget
on
to
its
follow
way.
us.
Even when it's not a special
There is someone
occasion,
lying to you,
just to see
and
you
this lie has
smile,
been going on
an
for
empty
months.
loyalty.
The
So
worst
don't mistake
part
his
is
guard
that
for
this
a cold
person
heart.
has no
Perfect
intention of
sense.
telling you the truth
I mean, who would
anytime
want to
soon.
stay with someone like me?
But do you want to know the
I
most
promise
curious
I'll keep showing
part?
you every day just how much you
Click on
mean
the
to
red
me.
cross below my
Because
photo
she
so you can
doesn't
find out
possess.
who it is.
She wants to
And
see
now
you
do the
fail.
following.
The
Click on
person
the
who
heart.
appears will bring
Then on
you a
the
lot
share
of luck,
arrow.
but that's
And
not
look at
all.
who is the
You'll
fifth
also be
person on your
surprised to see
WhatsApp
your bank
list.
account grow before
When a
your
woman
eyes.
stops
If you're
getting
unsure
jealous,
about us, please
stops
talk to me
questioning,
openly.
doesn't text
It's better
first,
than leaving. Seems unconcerned about your actions or no longer asks about other women in
Pretty
your
dreamed
life
about you
and
in
accepts
ways I
everything
can't
with
even
an "it's
describe
okay"
here
or
without getting
"I'm not
this.
upset."
Press the green share
Just
button
know that the
and
last
notice
tear has
that
dropped
the
and she no longer cares what happens. If I've fallen short of that and does not make noise when she's leaving you. She made noise before when she wanted to stay.
Join our
But
movement
you didn't listen.
by giving us a follow.
When her silence
God
speaks
bless you.
louder than her
Audio
words,
is a call,
understand
so you
it's
should
not
use
because
it,
she's calm.
whether privately
It's because
or-
she's done.
Click
She's
on the
tired
plus
of
button
fighting
above
for
my
someone who
photo.
made her feel like she wasn't
I
worth the
challenge my
effort.
limits.
She gave
striving
her all,
to be the
but
best
when
will
her
explain
peace
the
became
reasons.
more valuable than her pain.
Number one,
she chose herself. And
This
that's when
person
you
did not
realize
honor your
the quiet
feelings
departure of
and
Brings
a
to the
woman who
table
once loved you
when she's
fiercely.
emotionally invested.
The brutal reality is,
Change or leave.
you didn't lose her when she walked away.
100 if
You
agree.
lost
About
her
other
the
people.
moment you started
9.
treating her like
Think
she was
before
just
you
an
talk.
option who is
80%
not worth
May
fighting
lose hope
for.
and move on. Do you want to find out who this person is?
Don't replace me.
Take care of your home.
Just teach me how to be the man you need.
has the initial of the person
Show me
she
what makes
wants
you
you to
feel
look
safe.
after.
Share it with them
What
and
makes
leave
you
their
feel
name
loved?
in the comments. You two are meant
What
to
makes you
And
feel
let her
seen.
go. She ain't worth it. Because if
I'm
you
not
don't
saying
let
I'll
her
be
go,
perfect, but
she's
I'm saying
sure
I'll try.
confused. Enough is enough.
Because
Figure
real
it out
love
or
isn't
fuck
about
off.
finding
This
someone
is
who
not a
already knows
coincidence
everything.
now for this money to
It's
appear
about
in
growing
your
together.
Needed to do, and you owe
Learning
nothing
each
to
other.
anyone.
And
The
choosing
weight
to
of guilt.
stay even when
shares the
things
same
aren't
initial
easy.
as the person who will soon
I don't
open
want
their
to be
heart
just
to you.
another
you
name
are.
in your past.
But because of what you have.
I want to be
But
the
here's the
man who
hush.
understands you.
If she's
Stands
letting someone else
beside
get
you.
that close,
Get too
becomes
close
everything
to
you
your
need.
heart. They're wearing a
because I
mask
have
of
to.
empathy.
You feel
because
tired
I
no
want
matter
to.
how much you rest.
So if I ever fall
time, that
short,
build-
When to let go.
don't walk
Know
away.
when to walk away.
So tell me,
Yes.
help me see what I don't,
Who notices
and I promise I'll meet you where you are.
Standards to match their
Love
bitterness.
isn't about trading people
Time
in
will
when things
expose
get
the
tough.
truth.
It's you.
It's about
She
building
doesn't
something
belong
that
in your
lasts.
life. Walk away
And I
from
want
her.
to build that with you.
I just really miss
Drop a
your
1
presence.
yes if you agree with
I miss
me.
you being my best.
And pass this on to someone who needs it. It's not God bless.
It was a way of
There is
saying
someone
you
lying
matter.
to you.
That
And
even
this
in
lie
the
has been
middle
going
of
on
coffee,
for months.
You don't need to
The
bring
worst
her
part is
expensive
that
gifts
this
to
person
please
has
her.
no intention
don't
of
try
telling
to
you the
win her
truth
back.
anytime soon.
She made a decision.
But do you want to know the most curious part?
Thank you. To confirm
Click on the
this
red cross below
revelation.
my photo so you can find out who it is and it's working. And now do the following.
because every
Click on the
fall is
heart,
making you wiser.
then on the share arrow,
And I'm still-
and look at who is the
While I
fifth
was
person
shuffling
on your
here, a
WhatsApp
card
list.
fell out showing a
There is someone
forbidden
lying
love.
I'm
to
the beggar
you.
of tomorrow.
And this lie has
Don't
been
mock
going on for
people who are
months.
struggling.
The worst part is that this person has no intention of telling you the truth anytime soon.
Number 4.
But do
If
you
one
want
of
to
us
know
is
the
going
most
through a tough
curious
time,
part? Click on the red cross below my photo so you can find out who it is. And now do the following. Click on the heart, then on the share arrow, and look at who
But
is the
here's a
fifth
warning.
person
If
on
you
your
ignore
WhatsApp
them-
list. There is someone lying to you, and this lie has been
Comes
going
with
on for
real
months.
emotions.
The worst part
She
is
feels
that this person
deeply.
has no intention of telling you the truth
you
anytime soon.
if you love your father.
But do you want to know the most curious part? Click on the red
Till
cross
the
below my
end,
photo so
and
you
I
can
will
find
reveal
out
who
it
this
is.
hidden enemy
And
is.
now do the following.
Your time
Click
will
on the
come.
heart, then on the share
Yes,
arrow,
the nights may
and look
Always
at who
look
is the
your
fifth
best.
person on
Dress
your
the way
WhatsApp
you should
list.
be addressed.
There is someone lying to
And what
you,
was once delayed
and
will
this
now
lie
be
has been
delivered.
going on for months.
He tried to soil
The
your
worst
name,
part is that
making
this
up things
person
to
has
get you
no
out of
intention
there.
of telling you the
To
truth
someone
anytime soon.
only to be replaced like you
But do you
never
want to know the
mattered.
most curious
this
part?
far and you have been blessed by this
Click
message.
on the red cross below
Drop
my photo so you
100.
can find
Your
out
ex
who
will
it
go to great
is.
lengths to come
And
back
now
into
do
your
the
life
following.
once they find
Click
out
on the
about
heart,
To make it work
then
with
on
them.
the share
When you
arrow,
sleep tonight,
and look at who is the
everything
fifth
in
person
you
on your WhatsApp
That you would want to stay.
There's someone
But in the
who wants
end,
to have sex with
On
you.
those who
A
see your
lot.
worth without you
And I'm
having
going
to
to
prove
reveal reveal who it is, but only if you have the courage to hear what the cards are showing right now. This person has already dreamed about you in ways I can't
Either
even
change or
describe
leave.
here without getting this video taken
Drop a
down.
100 if you agree with.
They've imagined being with you in places that don't even exist on Google Maps.
A woman will say,
And the wildest part?
I just blocked him so that
They've
you crash.
already touched themselves
If you watch
thinking
this
about
far
your
and you have
name.
been blessed by this
But
message,
if you ignore this
When people
video,
switch up on
they'll
you,
move on
don't
with their life,
question
and you'll
yourself.
miss out on one
To
of the
keep
best
choosing
nights
you.
the universe had
I
planned
still think
for you.
about you, though.
To find
Not-
out
but
the
here's the
initial
truth.
of this person,
She's
click
ignoring
the
you
plus
for a
button
reason.
on my profile. Hit the heart if you want to attract this hot energy.
The last person ignored
Now,
this,
tap the
and
white
they missed their
arrow.
blessing.
The
Don't
initial
make
of the
same-
third
She is
person who
close,
shows up is the one
and
ready
I'm
for
going
this
to reveal
encounter
to you
that will
the
change your bed forever. The cards don't lie.
Longer in our time
The desire has already
Until
been
then,
released.
I'll wait
Now
for
all
you.
that's
Correction
missing
and
is you
directions
saying
from
yes.
She
The
is an
richest
man
man
in China, Jack
look
Ma,
replaceable.
said.
You
If
look
you
like a
put the
backup plan.
bananas and money
You
in front
disappear.
of the monkeys,
Not because
the
you're weak,
monkeys will choose
be-
bananas.
I loved you,
because the
not
monkeys don't
perfectly,
know that money can buy a lot of bananas.
This is about energy
In fact,
revenge.
if you
And you
offer
have just
work and
acted a
business to
curious
people,
part.
they will choose
Click
to
on the
work.
red cross below my photo.
Because most people
If
don't
you've
know
watched
that
this
a
far,
business
drop a
can make
100.
more money
It
than a
shows-
salary.
Exhausting.
One of the reasons the poor are poor
by typing
is because the
thanks
poor
in
are
the
not
comments.
trained to
You're going
recognize
to have serious.
the
I choose
entrepreneurial
myself,
opportunity.
even if it means walking
They
away.
spend a lot of time
You're
in
going to
school,
die very soon
and
if
what
you
they
skip this
learn in
video
school
now.
is to work for a
A woman who
salary
really loves you.
instead of working for themselves.
Number one.
There is a
Profit
short,
better than
chubby
wages
woman
because
who is
wages
betraying
can
your
support
trust.
you.
Things you say,
But profits can make
even
you
when
a
you think she's
fortune.
not listening.
If you don't
My
learn to
feelings for you
recognize
haven't wavered.
opportunities,
If you ever
you
need
will
someone to
continue
talk to,
choose the safe path
To give him affection
rather
and
than
love,
the profitable
to
one.
huge him
Don't
immediately.
forget
To lock
to follow
this
us.
energy into your life.
There is someone lying to
Drop
you,
your name.
And
and this
stand
lie has
by
been
you.
going on for months.
Who is willing to
The
grow
worst
with you?
part is that this
She'll
person
start
has
picking
no
fights for
intention
no
of telling
reason.
you the truth anytime
She'll say you're
soon.
not enough.
Number
But
8.
do you want to know the most
She'll
curious
support your
part?
goals and push you.
Click
If
on
she's
the red
acting
cross below
different,
my photo
here's the
so
truth
you
nobody
can find
wants to
out who
say.
it is.
When
And now
that you
do the
changed.
following. Click
But
on
really,
the heart. Then
she's
on the
trying to
share
just-
arrow.
WhatsApp is the
and
one
look
who
at
truly
is the
wants to
fifth
be with
person
you.
on your WhatsApp
Someone
list.
has strong.
There is someone
I want to
lying
build a
you.
house,
this
settle
lie has
down,
been
and
going
grow
on for
old
months.
with
The
You
worst
look
part is
replaceable.
that this person
You
has
look
no
like a
intention
backup
of
plan.
telling you the truth anytime
used
soon.
pushed to the edge quietly.
But do you want to know
If
the
you're
most
con-
curious
Compártelo en
part?
WhatsApp. Fíjate
Click on the
bien.
red cross below my
El
photo
primer
so you can find out who it
bendición aquí
is.
abajo.
And now do the following. Click on the
magia.
heart.
Pero
Then
hoy
on
te
the share
romperé ese
arrow.
hechizo
And look
y
at
haré
who
que
is
esa
the
persona
fifth person
La
on your
segunda,
WhatsApp list.
dinero que
A
no
woman calling
esperabas.
you baby
Persona
or
te quiere de
sweetheart
verdad.
means
Se
nothing.
preocupa
A
muchísimo por
woman
ti.
buying
Te
you
valorará
gifts
su
means
karma.
nothing.
No deslices que
A
te diré
woman
quién
becoming
es.
the mother of
17
your
minutos.
child
Debes de usar
means
este
nothing.
audio, no importa si lo
A
dejas
woman
en privado.
moving in
Number
with you
2.
means nothing. A woman who wants
A
you for
woman
your money and
posting
brings
you
you all over
Agárrate.
social media means nothing.
¿Por qué te sucederán dos
Even a
sorpresas?
woman
My
saying she
feelings
loves
for you
means
haven't
nothing.
wavered. If you ever
A
need
woman
someone to
sharing her
talk
food
to,
with you
Ignore
means
this
nothing.
video, or she will
A
never
woman
speak to
always
you
waiting
again.
for your call or
Keep
message.
3
dear people in your family
That
who
too
may be about to
means
face
nothing.
a major accident.
And let me
My fiance's phone rang during our wedding vows with the most romantic, spicy ringtone I'd ever heard. I was standing at the altar, crying happy tears, looking into the eyes of the man who made me feel seen like nobody ever had. He started his vows, talking about how I was the sun of his solar system. Right as he said those words, his phone started ringing. Pony, by Ginawine blared through the church. Every single person turned to stare. Norman's face went white. He fumbled with his pocket while the grinding beat echoed off the walls. Finally, he silenced it. Who was that? I asked. Wrong number. Probably spam. Norman, that's a custom ringtone. You assigned that song to someone specific. Show me the phone. He pulled it closer to his chest. It's nobody. Can we just continue? No. We can't. I grabbed my dress and walked off the altar. Norman followed me into the church lobby. Both families rushed after us. Was it another woman? I asked. No, I swear. Then who was it? Norman's mom pushed through the crowd. It's his cousin Rebecca. She's overseas. I stared at her. He has that song saved for his cousin? She stuttered about an inside joke. That's disgusting, and you know you're lying. I tried to grab the phone. He jerked away and it slipped, flying into the decorative fountain. The screen went black. Norman actually looked relieved. My maid of honor, Claire, stopped everyone. If that call was just your cousin, why are you happy the phone is dead? I want the truth, I said, or this wedding is over. Norman was shaking. I can't. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, he broke. The woman's name is Vanessa. She's the mother of my child. The words didn't register. What? I have a son. He's 4 years old. I never told you. My family exploded. I couldn't breathe. But why does she have that ringtone? I said it years ago. She never calls, so I forgot to change it. That doesn't explain why you were panicked. Norman looked sick. 3 months ago, Vanessa came back to town. We slept together. Once. My dad lunged forward, but my brothers held him back. Why was she calling you today? his mother answered. She's pregnant. My knees buckled. Claire caught me. I pulled out my own phone. Give me her number. Right now. Norman gave it to me. I called on speaker. The lobby went silent. Hello? A woman's voice answered. This is Norman's fiancé. I'm at the altar right now. Is it true? Long pause. He didn't tell you? Tell me what? Vanessa laughed, tired. I'm not pregnant. I called to warn you. Norman's been telling people I am, so he has an excuse to stay connected to me. He's been showing up at my apartment for months saying he wants to be a family again. I told him I'd call you if he didn't stop. So there's no second pregnancy? No. But everything else is true. The son, the affair, all of it. I hung up. Norman started talking fast. Baby, I can explain. You lied about a pregnancy to cover up stalking your ex? It wasn't stalking. You have a 4-year-old son you hid from me for 2 years. You cheated on me 3 months before our wedding. And when you got caught, you invented a fake pregnancy. He reached for my hand. I stepped back. The wedding is off. His mother started wailing. His father dragged him toward the exit. My family surrounded me like a wall. Claire helped me out of the church. I was still wearing my dress when we got to her car. She didn't ask where I wanted to go. She just drove. We ended up at a diner. I sat in a booth in my wedding gown eating pancakes at 4 p.m., mascara running down my face. The waitress just kept refilling my coffee. Claire sat across from me. What do you need? I need to know how I missed all of this. You didn't miss anything. He hid it. That's not the same thing. I thought about the past 2 years. Every time Norman got quiet when his phone buzzed. Every business trip that seemed too long. Every time his mother looked at me with something that wasn't quite warmth. They all knew. I finished my pancakes and walked out into the parking lot still wearing my dress. What now? Claire asked. I looked down at the white fabric, the beading I'd spent months choosing, the train dragging through gravel. Now I take this off, I said, and I never look back. Claire's apartment was smaller than the place I'd shared with Norman, but it felt safer somehow. I sat on her gray couch in my wedding dress and stared at the coffee table without really seeing it. My phone kept lighting up on the cushion next to me. Norman's name flashed across the screen again and again. Then my mom's name. Then my dad's. Then numbers I didn't recognize. I picked up the phone and turned it face down, but I could still feel it buzzing against my palm through the fabric of my dress. Claire brought me a glass of water and set it on the table in front of me. I didn't drink it. She sat in the chair across from me and didn't say anything. The silence felt heavy, but not uncomfortable. I looked down at the white beading on my dress and thought about how I'd tried on 17 dresses before finding this one. Norman had come to one of the fittings even though everyone said the groom wasn't supposed to see the dress. He'd told me I looked beautiful, and I'd felt so lucky that he couldn't wait. Now I wondered if he'd been checking his phone the whole time, texting Vanessa while I spun around in white fabric. My phone buzzed again. I turned it over and saw Norman's face on the screen, the photo from our trip to the mountains last fall. I'd taken that picture right after he'd told me he loved me for the first time. I pressed the power button and held it until the screen went black. The dress felt too tight suddenly. I stood up and reached behind me for the zipper, but my hands were shaking too much to grab it. Claire got up and walked over without me having to ask. She unzipped it slowly and the fabric loosened around my ribs. I could breathe again. I stepped out of the dress and stood there in my white underwear and strapless bra, looking at the pile of expensive fabric on Claire's floor. She picked it up carefully and started folding it. I watched her smooth out the wrinkles and arrange the train. She was treating it like it mattered even though we both knew I'd never wear it again. I sat back down on the couch in my underwear and pulled the throw blanket over my legs. Claire finished folding the dress and set it on the chair. She sat next to me and we didn't talk. The clock on her wall ticked past 7, then 8, then 9. I kept thinking about the past 2 years. Every time Norman's phone rang and he'd step into another room to answer it. Every weekend he said he had to work late. Every time his mom looked at me during family dinners with this expression I couldn't quite read. They all knew. His whole family knew he had a son, and they watched me plan a wedding and never said a word. I thought about Vanessa's voice on the phone, tired and matter-of-fact. She hadn't sounded angry or jealous. She'd sounded like someone who'd been dealing with Norman's lies for a long time and was just exhausted. I wondered what she'd told their son about his dad. I wondered if the kid knew Norman was supposed to get married today. The thought made my stomach hurt. Claire got up around midnight and came back with sweatpants and a t-shirt. I put them on and the dress stayed folded on the chair like a ghost. We sat on the couch and Claire asked me if I wanted to talk about it. I started going through everything in my head out loud. The business trip to Chicago that lasted 5 days when it should have been 3. The time I'd surprised Norman at his office and he'd seemed annoyed instead of happy. The way he always kept his phone face down on tables. The random Tuesday nights he said he had to help his brother move furniture or fix his dad's car. I'd believed all of it because why wouldn't I? People don't lie about helping their family. Except Norman did lie about his family. He lied about having a son. He lied about sleeping with Vanessa. He lied about her being pregnant. He'd probably lied about 100 other things I hadn't even figured out yet. Claire listened and didn't try to make me feel better with fake comfort. She just let me talk. Around 3 in the morning, I finally stopped talking, and we sat there in silence. My eyes felt dry and scratchy. I was too tired to cry anymore. Claire brought me a pillow and another blanket, and I lay down on her couch. She went to her bedroom, and I heard her door close softly. I stared at the ceiling and watched the shadows from the streetlight outside move across the white paint. I thought about how this morning I'd woken up excited to marry Norman. Now I was sleeping on my best friend's couch in borrowed clothes, and my whole life was different. I woke up to sun coming through Claire's living room window. My neck hurt from the couch pillow, and my mouth tasted awful. I reached for my phone before remembering I'd turned it off. I held the power button and waited for it to come back on. 17 missed calls, 12 from Norman, 3 from his mom, 2 from my mom. I had 14 text messages. I opened the one from Norman's mom first. It said we needed to talk about misunderstandings, and that Norman was devastated, and that I should give him a chance to explain properly. I deleted it. Norman's texts were long paragraphs about how sorry he was, and how he never meant to hurt me, and how we could work through this if I just gave him a chance. I didn't read all of them. I heard Claire moving around in her bedroom, and then she came out wearing her robe. She looked at my face and asked if I'd checked my phone. I nodded. She went to the kitchen and started making coffee without saying anything else. The smell filled the apartment and reminded me of Sunday mornings with Norman. We used to make breakfast together and read the news on our phones, and it had felt so normal and comfortable. Now I couldn't tell which parts of that had been real and which parts had been Norman playing a role. Claire brought me coffee in the blue mug she always used for guests. I wrapped my hands around it and felt the warmth. She sat in the chair with her own mug and told me I didn't owe anyone explanations right now. I knew she was right, but I also knew I couldn't hide at her apartment forever. Eventually, I'd have to deal with the wedding vendors and the apartment I shared with Norman, and all the practical pieces of a life I'd been building with someone who didn't exist. My phone rang and my dad's name showed up on the screen. I answered it and he asked where I was. I told him I was at Claire's. He said he and my mom were coming over. I said okay, and hung up. 20 minutes later, they were knocking on Claire's door. My mom hugged me so hard I couldn't breathe, and my dad stood behind her looking like he wanted to punch something. Claire let them in and made more coffee. We all sat in her small living room, and my parents told me that Norman's family had tried calling them last night. His dad had left a voicemail saying there had been a terrible misunderstanding, and that Norman loved me and wanted to make things right. My mom said she'd called back and told them there was no misunderstanding. Norman had lied and cheated and hidden a child. Those were facts, not misunderstandings. My dad said Norman's dad had tried to argue that Norman had been planning to tell me about his son after the wedding. My dad had hung up on him. I felt grateful that my parents were angry on my behalf because I was too tired to be angry anymore. I just felt empty. My mom asked what I needed, and I didn't know how to answer. I needed the past 2 years to be different. I needed Norman to not be a liar. I needed to not feel this stupid for missing all the signs. But I couldn't say any of that, so I just shrugged. My brothers showed up an hour later with garbage bags full of my stuff. They'd gone to the church and collected everything from the bridal room, and then they'd gone to the apartment while Norman was out. My oldest brother set the bags down in Claire's entryway and told me they'd grabbed clothes and my laptop and some other things. He said Norman had come home while they were there, but they'd finished packing and left without talking to him. My middle brother said it had taken everything in him not to say something. I thanked them, and they both hugged me. My youngest brother asked if I needed them to do anything else. I told them no. They left after making me promise to call if I needed anything. I looked at the garbage bags full of my life and felt overwhelmed. Claire helped me drag them into her bedroom, and we started going through them. My brothers had grabbed things randomly. 3 pairs of shoes, but not the ones I wore most. 5 t-shirts, but none of my jeans. My laptop, but not the charger. I pulled out a framed photo of me and Norman from last Christmas and stared at it. We looked so happy. I set it face down on Claire's dresser and kept unpacking. By afternoon, I knew I had to start dealing with the practical mess. I found a notebook in one of the bags and sat at Claire's kitchen table. I started writing down everything that needed to be canceled or dealt with. The venue, the caterer, the photographer, the florist, the honeymoon flights and hotel, the apartment lease that was in both our names, the joint bank account we'd opened for wedding expenses. The list kept getting longer, and I felt my chest getting tight. Each item represented something I'd planned and looked forward to. The venue where we were supposed to have our reception. The flowers I'd spent hours choosing. The honeymoon in Italy that Norman had suggested because he knew I'd always wanted to go. Every single thing on the list was a piece of the future I'd thought I had. I got to the bottom of the page and added one more item. Wedding dress alterations I'd already paid for. I'd never need the final fitting now. I put the pen down and put my head in my hands. Claire came over and looked at the list. She didn't say anything for a minute. Then she suggested I call the wedding planner first. Valeria could help coordinate with all the vendors. I didn't have to make every call myself. I looked up at Claire and felt a rush of gratitude. I'd been so focused on the list that I'd forgotten I'd hired someone specifically to handle wedding logistics. I found Valeria's number in my phone and called before I could talk myself out of it. She answered on the second ring and said my name like a question. I told her the wedding was canceled and I needed help dealing with the vendors. There was a pause and then her voice came back softer. She said she'd heard what happened. One of the guests had called her yesterday to ask about getting their gift back. Valeria said she was so sorry and she wanted to help however she could. I felt my throat get tight, but I didn't cry. I told her about the list and asked if she could handle contacting everyone. She said most vendors had cancellation policies in their contracts. Some deposits would be lost, but she'd do her best to minimize the damage. She asked if I could write a brief statement she could share with the vendors so she didn't have to explain the details over and over. I said yes and thanked her. She told me to send the statement whenever I was ready, and that she'd start reaching out to vendors this week. We hung up and I felt a tiny bit of the weight lift. At least I wouldn't have to call the florist and explain that my fiancé had a secret child and a side relationship. Valeria could just say the wedding was canceled due to personal circumstances and leave it at that. That evening, I was sitting on Claire's couch trying to write the statement for vendors when the intercom buzzed. Claire got up to answer it and I heard Norman's voice through the speaker. He was asking to talk to me. Begging, really. His voice sounded desperate and I felt nothing. Claire told him to leave. He kept talking, saying things had gotten out of hand and he just needed 5 minutes to explain. Claire said if he didn't leave, she was calling the police. I heard him say my name through the speaker, pleading. Claire pressed the button to end the call and came back to the couch. She asked if I was okay. I nodded. I pulled out my phone and looked at Norman's texts again. He'd sent 6 more since this morning. All of them were variations of the same thing. He was sorry. He loved me. He wanted to fix this. He never meant for things to go this far. I read them all and felt that same emptiness. No anger, no sadness, just nothing. I opened a new message and typed that we would communicate only through email about practical matters like the apartment and our shared belongings. I hit send and put my phone down. 30 seconds later, it rang. Norman's face filled the screen. He was calling instead of respecting the boundary I'd just set. I stared at his photo for 3 rings. Then I blocked his number. The phone stopped ringing. I felt a small surge of something that might have been power. It wasn't much, but it was the first time since yesterday that I'd made a choice that was entirely mine. The next morning, my phone rang while I was still in bed at Claire's place. The screen showed a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. A woman's voice introduced herself as the venue manager. She said Valeria had contacted her about the cancellation, but she wanted to reach out personally. I sat up and waited for whatever bad news was coming. She explained they couldn't refund the deposit because the contract was clear about cancellations within 2 weeks of the event. My stomach dropped. Then she said they were willing to apply the full amount to a future event if I wanted to reschedule within a year. I actually laughed out loud. The sound came out harsh and bitter. She went quiet on the other end. I told her I appreciated the offer, but I wouldn't be getting married there or anywhere else anytime soon. She said she understood and that she was sorry about what happened. I thanked her and hung up. The idea that I'd ever want to walk back into that venue made me feel sick. I spent the rest of the morning trying to figure out what I actually owed and what I could get back. Claire made coffee and sat with me while I went through every contract and receipt. The numbers kept getting bigger. I called my cousin Nadia around noon. She's a lawyer who specializes in contracts. She said she could meet me that afternoon. I got dressed in actual clothes for the first time in days and took the bus to her office downtown. Nadia's assistant showed me to a conference room with big windows overlooking the city. Nadia came in a few minutes later carrying a legal pad. She hugged me first and then sat down across from me. I handed her the folder with all my wedding contracts. She put on her reading glasses and started going through each document. I watched her face for any sign of good news. She took notes and made small sounds while she read. After 20 minutes, she looked up and said most of the vendors had solid cancellation clauses. I was probably out about $15,000 in deposits that were clearly marked as non-refundable. The number hit me like a punch. $15,000 gone because Norman couldn't tell the truth. I felt physically sick. Nadia reached across the table and squeezed my hand. She asked if I wanted to pursue any legal action against Norman. I could potentially sue for fraud or emotional distress. I thought about it for maybe 10 seconds. Then I told her I just wanted to be done with him. I didn't want months or years of court dates and lawyers and seeing his face. Nadia nodded like she expected that answer. She said she understood, but she'd put together some information for me anyway in case I changed my mind later. She pulled out a folder and explained what my options would be if I decided to go that route. I took the folder and thanked her. She didn't charge me for the consultation. She said family doesn't pay family. I left her office feeling both grateful and defeated. At least I knew where I stood financially now. 3 days after the wedding that didn't happen, I had to go back to work. I couldn't hide at Claire's apartment forever. I got up early and put on work clothes that felt strange after days in sweatpants. The bus ride felt too long. I kept thinking about what I'd say when people asked questions. My boss had texted saying to take all the time I needed, but I'd replied that I wanted to come back. Sitting around thinking about Norman was worse than being busy. I walked into the office and felt every eye turn toward me. People who normally said good morning looked away. My boss saw me and immediately came over. She pulled me into her office and closed the door. She said again that I could take more time. I told her I'd rather work than sit at home. She studied my face for a moment and then nodded. She said to let her know if I needed anything. I I went to my desk and tried to focus on emails. My hands were shaking. Around 10, a coworker named Jessica stopped by my desk. She had this bright smile on her face. She said she saw the wedding was supposed to be last weekend and asked how married life was treating me. The words hung in the air between us. I felt my face get hot. I told her the wedding didn't happen. Her smile disappeared. She asked what I meant. I said it got canceled at the altar. Her expression went from confused to shocked to horrified in about 3 seconds. She started apologizing and backing away from my desk. I told her it was fine, but she kept saying sorry. Other people nearby had heard. I could feel them staring. I wanted to disappear into the floor. Jessica finally left and I put my head down and pretended to work. The rest of the day crawled by with people either avoiding me completely or giving me sad looks. I'd never been so happy to leave work in my life. That evening, I was scrolling through social media when a message popped up from someone named Milo. The name seemed familiar. I clicked on his profile and recognized him from pictures with Norman in college. My first thought was that he was reaching out to defend Norman or make excuses. The message said he needed to talk to me about something important. He said it was about Norman and he knew I probably didn't want to hear from any of his friends right now. But he promised he wasn't reaching out to defend him. Something about the way he wrote it seemed genuine, not like he was making excuses. I stared at the message for a long time. Finally, I wrote back asking what he wanted to talk about. He replied almost immediately. He said it would be better to meet in person if I was willing. He suggested a coffee shop downtown. I told Claire about it and she said to meet him somewhere public and let her know where I was. I agreed to meet him the next day after work. The coffee shop was busy when I got there the next afternoon. Milo was already sitting at a corner table. He stood up when he saw me and shook my hand. He looked nervous. We both ordered coffee and sat down. He thanked me for meeting him. Then he said he'd been feeling guilty for months. I asked him why. He explained that Norman had told him about Vanessa and the kid last year. He said Norman mentioned it casually like it was something I already knew about. Milo had even asked Norman once how I felt about the whole situation with his son. Norman told him I was fine with it, and we were working on integrating his kid into our lives. Milo believed him. He said he only realized a few days ago that I'd had no idea. One of Norman's other friends had mentioned how shocked I must have been to find out at the altar. That's when Milo understood that Norman had been lying to everyone about what I knew. He looked miserable telling me this. Milo kept talking. He said Norman used to talk about me and Vanessa in this weird way. Like he was comparing us. He'd make comments about how different we were, how I was organized and driven and Vanessa was more spontaneous and emotional, how he got different things from each of us. At the time, Milo thought Norman was just talking about his past relationship versus his current one. But now looking back, it seemed like Norman was talking about 2 ongoing relationships. I felt cold listening to this. I asked Milo if he thought the hookup 3 months ago was really just once. Milo looked uncomfortable. He said he didn't know for sure, but Norman had mentioned seeing Vanessa multiple times in the past year. Always with some excuse about co-parenting or their son needing something. Milo had thought it was innocent at the time. Now he wasn't so sure. I sat back in my chair and felt the weight of it. The cheating probably wasn't one mistake. It was probably ongoing. I asked Milo why he was telling me all this now. He took a sip of his coffee and said Norman had called him yesterday. Norman spent 20 minutes painting himself as the victim, saying his private business got exposed unfairly, saying people were overreacting, saying I'd embarrassed him in front of everyone. Milo said Norman showed 0 real remorse. He was just mad that he got caught. Milo told Norman he was wrong and Norman got defensive and hung up on him. That's when Milo decided he couldn't stay silent anymore. He said he felt like he'd been part of the lie by not questioning things sooner. I told him it wasn't his fault. Norman had lied to everyone. Milo still looked guilty, but he nodded. We finished our coffee and I thanked him for telling me the truth. He said if I ever needed anything or wanted to talk to reach out. I left the coffee shop feeling worse than when I'd arrived. Every new piece of information just showed me how blind I'd been. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay on Claire's couch staring at the ceiling. Finally, I grabbed my phone and started going through old photos. Pictures from the past 2 years with Norman. I looked at them differently now. In one photo from 6 months ago, Norman was checking his phone with this secretive expression. I'd thought nothing of it at the time. In another photo from a work trip he'd taken last spring, his smile looked forced. I remembered he'd been unreachable for hours that weekend. He'd blamed it on bad cell service. There were so many little things. Times he'd angled his phone away from me. Nights he'd come home later than expected with vague explanations about traffic or a work thing running long. Calls he'd taken in another room. I'd trusted him, so I'd never questioned any of it. Now every memory felt poisoned. I felt so stupid for missing all the signs. Claire heard me moving around and came out of her bedroom. She sat down next to me and asked what I was doing. I showed her the photos and told her about all the things I'd dismissed. She took my phone and set it down. She said I trusted him because that's what you're supposed to do in a relationship. She said his lying didn't mean I was stupid. It meant he was a liar. I wanted to believe her, but I still felt like I should have known something was wrong. We stayed up talking until almost 3 in the morning before I finally fell asleep. The apartment building looked the same as always, but walking up to it felt like approaching a crime scene. Claire parked her car and turned off the engine. She asked if I was ready, and I nodded even though I wasn't. We got out and headed toward the entrance. Norman was already waiting in the lobby. He stood up when he saw me and took a step forward with his arms slightly open. I stepped back before he could get close. His face did this hurt expression like I'd slapped him. Claire positioned herself between us and asked where we should start. Norman led us to the elevator without saying anything. The ride up to the 3rd floor felt endless. Nobody spoke. The doors opened and we walked down the familiar hallway to apartment 3B. Norman unlocked the door and I stepped inside a space that used to feel like home. Now it just felt like a place full of lies. I'd brought empty boxes and trash bags. Claire set them down by the door. Norman cleared his throat and started talking about how we should discuss things. I cut him off and pointed at the boxes. I told him we were here to divide belongings, not talk. He kept going anyway. He said he'd been scared to tell me about his son because he thought I'd leave. I stared at him. I told him I would have understood about a child from a previous relationship. Lots of people have kids from past relationships. Requested Reds is on Spotify now. Check out link in the description or comments. But lying for 2 years was different. Cheating 3 months before our wedding was different. Norman actually tried to argue that the cheating just happened because Vanessa was emotional about co-parenting issues. Like that was supposed to make it better. Like being emotional was an excuse to sleep with your ex. Claire stepped forward and told Norman to stop making excuses. She said he needed to focus on dividing belongings, or she was calling my brothers to come handle it. Norman's face went pale at the mention of my brothers. He finally shut up. We spent the next 2 hours sorting through everything in complete silence. I moved through the apartment picking up items that were clearly mine. My books, my clothes, my grandmother's quilt. Norman kept trying to make eye contact, but I refused to look at him. Every item I touched reminded me of some moment in our relationship that turned out to be fake. The coffee mug I'd bought him for his birthday. The throw pillows we'd picked out together. The framed photo from a trip where he'd probably been texting Vanessa the whole time. I left everything we'd bought together. I didn't want any of it. Norman tried to insist I take the coffee maker we'd picked out on a vacation to the mountains. I snapped that I didn't want anything that would make me think of him every morning. He set it down and didn't argue. By the time we finished, I had 3 boxes of stuff. That's all I was taking from 2 years of living together. 3 boxes. Claire helped me carry them down to her car. Norman followed us and tried to say something as we loaded the trunk. I slammed it shut and got in the passenger seat without responding. Claire drove away, and I watched the building disappear in the side mirror. My mom called me that evening while I was unpacking at Claire's place. She sounded tired. She told me that Norman's mother had called her suggesting a meeting between our families to find a path forward. I almost laughed. My mom said she'd politely told Norman's mother that wouldn't be happening and asked her not to contact us again. The fact that his mom still thought there could be a path forward showed she understood nothing. There was no path. There was no forward. There was just a way. I thanked my mom and she asked how I was really doing. I told her I didn't know yet. She said that was okay and that she loved me. After we hung up, I sat on Claire's couch and realized I hadn't slept properly in days. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Norman at the altar. I saw his face when the phone rang. I saw his mother lying. I saw everything unraveling in front of 200 people. Claire suggested I talk to someone and gave me the number for Charlotte King, a therapist she'd heard good things about. I called the next morning and got an appointment for that afternoon. Charlotte's office was in a quiet building downtown. She was younger than I expected, maybe early 40s, with kind eyes and a direct way of speaking. She asked what brought me in, and I told her the whole story. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she asked what I needed to feel safe again. Not what happened or how I felt about it. What I needed to feel safe. The question caught me off guard. I admitted I was having trouble sleeping. She asked what was keeping me awake, and I said I kept replaying the moment at the altar over and over. She nodded and asked what I was looking for in those replays. I said I was trying to figure out how I missed everything. Charlotte leaned forward slightly and told me that wasn't the right question. The right question was why Norman chose to deceive me. She said I was angrier at myself than at him, and I needed to redirect that anger where it belonged. I felt tears starting and tried to stop them. Charlotte handed me tissues and said it was okay to be angry at myself, but I needed to understand that Norman deliberately deceived me. His deception said nothing about my intelligence or worth. It said everything about his character. We talked for the full hour, and I left feeling slightly less like I was drowning. The photographer emailed 2 days later. She said she still expected payment for the day, even though the wedding didn't happen. She'd shown up and taken pictures of the ceremony before it fell apart. Her invoice was attached. I stared at the number and felt sick. I forwarded the email to Valeria and asked if there was anything she could do. Valeria called me within an hour. She said she'd reached out to the photographer and negotiated a reduced rate. The photographer could still use the pre-ceremony photos for her portfolio, so she was willing to accept 60% of the original cost. It was better than nothing. I agreed and thanked Valeria for handling it. She said she was sorry about everything and hoped I was taking care of myself. I said I was trying. That night, I made the mistake of checking social media. Norman had posted a status about going through a difficult time and learning from mistakes. Several people who didn't know what happened had commented with support. Someone wrote that everyone makes mistakes, and growth is what matters. Another person said they were proud of him for being vulnerable. I stared at the screen, feeling my blood pressure rise. He was painting himself as someone going through a hard time, not someone who'd lied and cheated and destroyed someone else's life. I wanted to comment and tell everyone the truth. I wanted to share screenshots of our text exchanges. I wanted to expose every lie. But I closed the app instead. Claire was right when she said engaging with him would only make things worse. He wasn't worth my energy anymore. I closed the app and put my phone face down on Claire's coffee table. She looked up from her laptop where she'd been working on something and asked if I was okay. I told her I was done looking at his stuff, done caring what story he told himself to sleep at night. She nodded and said that was probably healthy. Then she suggested something that caught me off guard. She said I should write out everything I wanted to say to Norman but never send it, just to get all the feelings out of my head and onto paper. I stared at her for a second because it seemed too simple to actually help, but she insisted it worked for her after a bad breakup years ago. She grabbed a notebook from her desk drawer and handed it to me with a pen. I took it and sat cross-legged on the couch, staring at the blank page for a while before I started writing. Once I started, I couldn't stop. I filled 7 pages with anger and hurt and questions I'd never get answers to. I wrote about the moment at the altar when everything shattered. I wrote about feeling stupid for missing signs that seemed obvious now. I wrote about his mother's lies and his fake pregnancy excuse and how he tried to hug me at the apartment like nothing had happened. I wrote things I wished I'd said when he was making excuses, sharp words that felt good to put on paper even if he'd never hear them. When I finished, my hand was cramping and my eyes were burning, but I felt lighter somehow. Claire asked if I wanted to keep the pages or get rid of them, and I said I wanted them gone. She led me to her fireplace and handed me a lighter. I watched the pages curl and blacken in the flames, and it felt surprisingly good to see all those words turn to ash. My dad called the next morning and asked if I wanted to get lunch. I said yes because I knew he was trying to help, even though neither of us really knew what to say about everything. We met at a sandwich place near his office, and he looked tired when he sat down across from me. He started talking before I could even open my menu. He apologized for not seeing through Norman, said he seemed like such a good guy who treated me well. His voice cracked a little when he said he should have known something was wrong. I reached across the table and put my hand on his. I told him Norman fooled everyone, not just me. I said Norman was good at lying. That was the whole problem. My dad nodded, but I could tell he still felt bad about it. We talked about other things while we ate, normal stuff about work and my brothers and my mom's new garden project. It felt good to have a conversation that wasn't entirely about the disaster at the altar. When we finished eating, my dad paid the check and hugged me in the parking lot. He said he was proud of how I was handling everything, and that helped both of us feel less guilty about missing the signs. I ran into one of Norman's cousins at the grocery store 3 days later. I was reaching for cereal when I heard someone say my name. I turned and there she was, looking uncomfortable but walking toward me anyway. She said she'd been thinking about me and wanted to check how I was doing. I said I was fine and tried to move my cart past her, but she kept talking. She said Norman was really struggling with everything, like that was supposed to make me feel something other than angry. I stopped and looked at her directly. I told her he should be struggling since he created this entire mess by lying for 2 years and cheating 3 months before our wedding. Her face went red and she started to say something about how everyone makes mistakes. I didn't let her finish. I said mistakes are forgetting to call someone back or being late to dinner, not hiding a child and stalking an ex. Then I walked away before she could say anything else. My hands were shaking when I got to the checkout line, but I was glad I'd said it. Valeria called me that evening with final numbers on the wedding costs. I'd been avoiding thinking about the money part because I knew it would make me angry all over again. She went through each vendor and what they'd agreed to. The venue kept half the deposit. The caterer kept $1,000. The photographer took 60% like we'd negotiated. The florist kept everything because flowers had already been ordered. When she finished adding it up, she said I was losing about $12,000 total. It was less than I'd feared when I first started canceling things, but it was still a huge financial hit that made me want to scream. $12,000 gone because Norman couldn't tell the truth. Valeria said she was sorry and that she'd done everything she could to minimize the losses. I thanked her for all her help and hung up. Then I sat on Claire's couch and stared at the wall, doing math in my head about how long it would take me to recover from this. I decided to ask Norman to pay half of the lost deposits. It seemed fair since his lies caused the cancellation in the first place. I opened my laptop and started an email, keeping it formal and direct. I wrote out an itemized list of every lost deposit with the vendor name and amount. The total came to $12,347. I asked him to pay half, which was $6,173.50. I said it was only fair that he take some financial responsibility for the consequences of his actions. I read the email 3 times before sending it, making sure my tone stayed calm and factual. His response came back 2 hours later. It was long, way longer than it needed to be. He wrote about how he was already financially stressed from lawyer fees for the custody situation with Vanessa. He said he was barely making rent right now and couldn't afford to pay me anything. He went on about how he knew he'd messed up, but punishing him financially wouldn't help either of us move forward. The whole message made me want to scream. He was acting like paying for the damage he caused was some kind of unfair punishment instead of basic responsibility. I called Nadia and told her about Norman's response. She asked if I wanted her to send him a legal letter demanding repayment, and I said yes immediately. His refusal to take any financial responsibility was somehow more infuriating than the original betrayal. At least when he lied about his son and the affair, I could tell myself he was weak or scared or whatever excuse made sense. But refusing to pay for the mess he created was just selfish. Nadia said she'd draft something official and have it sent within a few days. The letter would request $6,000 within 30 days and outline potential legal action if he didn't comply. I knew he probably still wouldn't pay, but having it in writing from a lawyer felt important. It felt like I was doing something instead of just accepting that he could destroy my life and walk away without consequences. Norman's father called my dad a week after Nadia sent the letter. My dad called me right after and put me on speaker so I could hear what had happened. Norman's father had offered to pay $3,000 to help settle things and let everyone move forward. He said he knew his son had made terrible choices and he wanted to do something to make it right. My dad asked me what I wanted to do. I thought about it for a minute. $3,000 wasn't the full $6,000 I'd asked for, but it was better than nothing. I told my dad to accept it. I wanted this finished. I wanted to stop thinking about Norman and his family and the money I'd lost. My dad said he'd call back and arrange the payment. Norman's father sent a check 2 days later with a note saying he was sorry for everything. I deposited it without reading the note again. I started looking for a new